Wow, I never thought I would see the day we have a Star Trek movie without one Captain James or Admiral Tiberius Kirk. But here we are. And ladies and gentlemen, is it a banger? We're going to talk about it. We're going to find out. Let's start the show. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Unpopular Review Entertainment, continuing our Star Trek franchise here at UPRE. And I bring it back the same crew from Star Trek 7, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring him in. He is Vic. What's going on, Vic?
Aquí, tranquilo, tú sabes.
Vic GPT.
Yeah.
And somebody is really an advocate for that. When they have stock, you need to buy some. And let's go ahead and bring in the next doctor.
What up, what up, what up?
What's going on, my man? How you feeling?
Excellent. Glad to be back.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back as we get to the midway point, well, a little over the midway point, actually, of Star Trek. Star Trek First Contact, the first movie without any of the original crew in it, as the cast of the Next Generation to go out into time to stop the Borg from trying to assimilate the past to get and conquer the future.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about this. Is actually a fan favorite Star Trek episode, and I'm sorry, Star Trek movie. Vic, what do you think?
It feels like an episode. I think you were right because look, just like all of the other movies, they go into things in a sense where you already know everything that's happening with the characters. With all the other movies, I picked up. Now, the main thing I was missing was Spock and all the other guys in this movie. So it's basically the first time that you get to see Picard just in a leadership position. And he definitely had his BDE in this movie. So, you could definitely appreciate that about him. And he had a little bit of that. But then also at the same time, he was kind of soft. Like a little puppy, especially when he was with the girlie with the black girl. That was cute. You know what I mean? His whole little back and forth. It was great how she she got under his skin and shit. And because the cool thing about her is that she was from a whole nother time, and he was sweet on her. So that whole situation was cool. But other than that, the main thing that really caught my attention in this movie was Data. Right? Because the thing about Data is that Data is a character that's consistently just looking for um, a human experience. He's an android. He's a computer. But then at the same time, you look at the time that they made this and the thought process. Everything was a computer. Everything is just so like ones and zeros. Um, and we're in a time now where you have artificial intelligence just doing all of these different things where you could literally just prompt it to do all of these different things from you, whether it's write a document for you or generate an image for you or things like that. So now we have a situation where people are just like, hey, this is going to be like Data, and it's going to try to become human. And I find that whole situation hilarious. But I think that Data is the cause of this because of Data, his history, and just the way that he moves trying to be a human. I think that this whole notion of a computer trying to generate emotions and feelings and things like that is always going to be a reoccurring thing. Look, with the emotion chip before in the previous movie, and then this time he gets all emotional and all like, "Hey, I have feelings," and now look, I'm a bad guy, and now look, I am a good guy, and it's just like, come on, all right, you know what I mean? Like the droid is just you're trying to give feelings to the droid. You're trying to humanize him a little bit too much. But I just found that whole thing compelling, and the reason why is because, um, you know, I wasn't connected through the episodes, and I feel like I need to be. This content has huge gaps within the movies. if all you do is watch the movies. If you watch the shows, you'll be, right on task. If that's the right choice of words, because it's a little hard to follow. It's still good, but it's just a little hard to follow. And that's all of that.
Well, I think it's interesting that you make that comparison between data or something in Star Trek and something in the real world, because that is actually a reoccurring thing. There's been lots of developments that were showcased in Star Trek that became real life products. You know, a tablet is one of them.
Mm.
The pad, PADD, was something from Star Trek well before it actually was a thing. And then someone like, you know what? That's a good idea. Make it. You
Mm.
know? And I think that, yeah, someone will eventually see, okay, AI, and maybe programming that AI to imitate, you know, humanity. Um, I don't necessarily think that's a wise decision, but we'll see what happens if it actually does come to fruition. Now, as far as this movie goes, going back to Picard, we do have to give a shout out to Patrick Stewart. Um, jumping ahead to the end of the movie, where he was hanging there when the gas was destroying all of the organic parts of the Borg. Um, like he has some muscle. It wasn't like Captain America when he was holding on to the helicopter. But he had bigger guns than the executive consultant. So I just got to give props to Patrick Stewart.
Mm.
He got fit, and it might have been for he was like, I'm going to be co-starring with this beautiful black queen. He's like, I got to step my game up. I can't just be
Mhm.
coming in. When I take
Mhm.
off the shirt and I got the the tee on, and I gotta represent. And I gotta give him his props. He definitely it wouldn't be something that I would think to see from Patrick Stewart. But looking at it this time, because I've seen the movie plenty of times. Looking at this time, first time I actually noticed, I'm like, oh, he actually got in shape for this. Make sure that when he had his hero moment, he was looking the part. So I thought that was pretty good. And of course, his iconic speech when she got under his skin, you know, talking about reliving his experience, and you know the beginning of the movie starts with the admiral saying that you get too close to this, you're going to act erratically. Yeah,
Mm.
you're an unknown factor. We can't have you on the battlefield because we don't know what you're going to do. And throughout the movie, it's proven right. He's acting erratically. Now, having not seen the shows, you may not be able to tell that. But yeah, he's way out of character for most of the movie because of his previous experience being Locutus, which of course is from the show. Which it does allude to it, but yeah, you wouldn't know that unless you watched the show. And
Mm.
yeah, he was erratic the whole time, but he did open up opportunity for a great speech. Made too many compromises already, and I'm not going to go with the whole thing, but then I will make them pay for what they've done. It was great. It was great. This is Chris said, executive consultant said this was a fan favorite. This is definitely, I would probably say this is definitely my favorite of the Trek movies, or at least it's up there.
I mean, it's very well said. I mean, you won't go into speech. I'll go into speech. They invade our space and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds and they fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here, this far, no further. And I will make them pay for what they've done.
You do have to exaggerate that eye, because he definitely rolled the eye.
It was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
very well acted, but Sir Patrick Stewart's a very good actor, so he's very good at what he does. But he was acting erratic. Him getting all smart with Worf. Worf saying, "Okay." I like the banter between Riker and Zefram Cochrane and Geordi LaForge on the planet.
Now, Worf did buck up when he said that. He said that if he was any other man, he would have killed him where he stood. He did say that.
Yeah,
he didn't just whimper off.
Yeah, I know he did say if you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand. It was just really, really well done, well acted movie. Shout out to the fake M. Bison being in that movie. I didn't realize that years later he was in it. It was his first role in a motion picture. I can't really say enough about this movie. I liked it from beginning to end. I do agree with a lot of what Vic says about you had to watch the series, but I also think that they showed enough clips and scenes and tried to explain enough about it for you to pretty much get the gist of what happened. He's PTSD. Let's just be real. Serious case of it. But it also helped him defeat the Borg. Right? And I thought that was a very good ending and a very good way to do it. The only thing I disagree with what I heard is that Sir Patrick Stewart had bigger guns than the executive consultant because he doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, find out what we're going to watch next. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
Planning on doing some hunting.
Return to your quarters. That's an order.
No uniform, no orders.
We are participating in the outright theft of a world.
They were never meant to be immortal.
Who the hell are we to determine the next course of evolution for this people?
Radiation coming from the planet's rings continuously regenerates our genetic structure.
We're only moving 600 people.
How many people does it take before it becomes wrong?
Saddle up. Lock and load.
Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feel, and I'm happy again.
I sang in the rain.
You said what?
I said I have sang in the rain.
I have not, but that phrase is coming from this movie, and this movie will be reviewed for us very shortly. Make sure you pay attention. You follow us on all our Unpopular Reviews, social media. Star Trek 9 coming up. Remember, even numbers good, odd numbers are bad. That's the formula. We're going to continue. We're going to find out whether that holds true today and holds true next week when that show comes out. I'm sorry, that episode comes out. But let's go ahead with our final thoughts as well as thumbs up, thumbs down. Vic, we're going to start with you. Star Trek 8. Final thoughts, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I was entertained. I was compelled by data. Made me think a lot about what's going on today. So it's a thumbs up.
I mean, I've said it before, it's one of my favorite Star Trek movies. It's not perfect. There's definitely always a gripe that you can pull out. They use the moon's gravity to obscure the warp signature. Vulcans wouldn't have had technology to, notice them transporting out, though, like right next to their ship. Okay. They visibly used the time vortex to go back. You can see it from the planet's surface. Vulcan technology wouldn't have caught that. I can hand wave it because the rest of the movie was spectacular. Definitely a thumbs up.
Truth be told, this is my favorite Star Trek movie. Not only is it my favorite Star Trek movie, it is arguably one of my favorite movies. I loved it that much from beginning to end. Very good pacing, very good. This is my favorite soundtrack for Star Trek also. I thought the opening theme was very, very beautiful in the credits and stuff. So, including the end credits. It was just a very well directed, very well put together movie. And of course, because I said all that, and it's better than the Batman, it gets a thumbs up. The only thing I'll say is, Vic, because you said, your words, not mine, that they're gonna see data and they're going like, hey, we can do this too. I just want to make sure they don't go down this route right here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here at Unpopular Review. For Vic, for the next doctor, we'll see you right here next time. Have a good night. sure.